Hi all, we wish we were there today to have this speech done in person, but obviously due to lockdown we're not able to. Firstly, I want to thank you all for your efforts around the Big Freeze campaign. Seeing the Big Freeze beanies on players, coaches, staff, partners, everyone, it makes such an impact in this fight against MND. It really sends a strong message to the community to join the fight as we try and find treatments and a cure for motor neuron disease. Now, this speech is a speech written by Dad. It's really he wanted to tell you all about what Play On actually means to him. So back in 2013, when he was diagnosed with motor neuron disease, he sent a message to his extended family and friends, telling them that he had MND and that he would play on. Unfortunately, the beast is taking his voice and he's unable to deliver it today himself. So my brother Ben is going to be delivering it on his behalf. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll throw to Ben.
Dad, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, as you know, I'm basically thank you for my appointment. As you know, I like telling stories. I've got another one for you today. I'm here, mate.
Are you like me? In your quiet moments, do you have internal voices in your head speaking to you? You know the ones. They build you up with, you can do this, yes you can. And then the other voices appear uninvited saying, you're kidding mate, you can't do this. And not only that, you'll publicly embarrass yourself trying. I think most of us have these voices. I recall them being particularly chatty when I was first diagnosed with the incurable terminal illness called MND, or motor neuron disease. When I got that diagnosis, I didn't want to believe it. I flew home from Perth to Melbourne to get another opinion, but alas, it wasn't any better. I have to admit, it was a long flight back to Perth, with plenty of time for the voices in my head to emerge. I had a little man on each shoulder, Mr. Positive and Mr. Negative. For the first half of the flight, Mr. Negative was nagging away in my left ear. This is a dismal reality, mate. You can't sugarcoat this one. You're a goner. He went on and on. Then, about halfway across the Nullarbor plain, Mr. Positive piped up. How's that conversation going with your mate? He asked. And I replied, not too good. He said, are you going to put up with him hanging around, chipping away with all of this fatalism? How's that going to work for Jan and for your kids? The overriding resolution was that if I descended into a negative victim attitude, it was only going to make things worse for my wife, my kids, my mates, and infinitely worse for me. This was the context for the message I sent to the wider family and friends to update them on my diagnosis. I ended the text with the words, play on. I'm sure this call to play on was a genuine message to my loved ones, but maybe, just maybe, it was more of a message to myself. My true inner voice was telling me something. I just had to tune in and listen. Mr. Negative was right on one level. Maybe I was a goner. But Mr. Positive was also right with his never say die attitude. Looking back, these are the three things I heard my inner voice say. First, I had to find a way to play on, one that worked for me and my family. Second, I couldn't do it on my own. Life is a team game. And third, we had to enjoy doing it. I didn't want to add any more drudgery to anyone's to-do list. However, that's easier said than done. When life smacks you in the mouth, you can feel like you're in a bit of a fog. It's not clear what to do. It's confronting, it's hard. You feel like you have no options, but you have to find a way. And then keep finding a way as you encounter more hurdles, as MND is relentless and it never ceases its attack. One thing I knew was this. If I couldn't find a way to get on with life, what sort of example would I be to my family, and my friends. I have a motto. It's not what you say, it's what you do. So I asked myself, what can I do? As my family and I discovered, you are capable of far more than you think you are, especially under pressure. You have wells of resilience to draw on, and those wells replenish each time you dip in. The survival instinct is in your DNA as a human being. You are hardwired to find a way to not only survive, but to thrive. Eventually, in time, the way to play on came to me. It's best summed up by a wise saying. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. I knew I didn't like MND, the fact it was a killer, incurable. I also didn't like the fact that very few people had heard of MND. How can you beat an enemy who's invisible? As I said, if you don't like something, change it. So that's what I'll try to do. What I couldn't change, unfortunately, was that I had the disease. But I could change how I thought about it. So I decided to make the fight personal. First, I named it the Beast. If I was going down, I'd go down swinging. But who was I kidding? Me against the Beast? Really? I already knew that you can't play on successfully on your own. You need to play on with others. You of all people know that. I could always count on my family. We were all in this fight together. So together we cast a net wide and asked if others could help us. We needed to create awareness of MND and to raise funds for research. I didn't have all the answers to how we would beat the Beast or how long the fight would take, but my inner voice convinced me that if you wait until you have all the answers, you'll never play on. You'll play safe, nothing will change, and you run the risk of being stuck on the treadmill of the daily grind and of never finding out what you are capable of. Remember this. Nothing changes until you do something, until you play on. And if you do something with others, you can achieve far more than when you fly solo. At FightMND, we are very clear on why we are asking for help. Sure, a key part of this fight is about giving hope to people living with MND, but this campaign is beyond today. It's about helping those who will be diagnosed tomorrow and in the future. There's another thing that mattered to me. There has to be an element of fun in what you do. You sure you want to do this?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Bear with me. Don't encourage him. Yeah, we got to laugh. We're happy that we put a lot of minutes in that arts and crafts, so it would have been filthy if we didn't get a laugh.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, as I was saying, can I continue?
Yeah.
As I was saying, there has to be an element of fun in what you do. We all know how the everyday routines and drudgery sometimes sucks all the fun out of life, let alone when you have worries and anxieties. On top of that, when you have a terminal illness, life can easily become a never-ending list of medical detail and appointments. But again, my inner voice kept challenging me. How much fun are you bringing to this deal? What's your responsibility here? And are you really that much fun to be around? Remember, this is what Mr. Positive was asking me while I flew back over the Nullarbor. In those very early days, it was clear to me that play on was not just about the fight, but ensuring we created opportunities to have some fun along the way. To enjoy what we did every day and to find moments to laugh and maybe do silly things like getting people to slide into a huge tub of ice. And to always keep looking for the little wins to celebrate. You see, by having fun, we are saying to finally up yours to the Beast. You will not defeat us. Pop the beanie on. Get the plug. If life is a game, then I might be deep in the final quarter. Maybe even in red time. But isn't that the most important part of the game? I think so. It's when everything is on the line. So I'll keep finding a way, keep playing a role that helps our team, and making sure we have some fun while we fight on. Lastly, what's your inner voice telling you? What will you do? I know what I'll do. Until that final siren sounds, I'll keep listening to my true inner voice telling me to play on. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Ain't that bomb? Ain't that bomb?